Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Asian Watch Conference 2021 on the occasion of the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021. 各位来宾，欢迎来临香港钟表展2021举办的亚洲钟表研讨会2021。The conference will begin in 5 minutes. Please stay tuned. 研讨会将于5分钟后开始，敬请留意，谢谢。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Asian Watch Conference 2021 on the occasion of the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021. This conference will be conducted in English with simultaneous interpretation of Putonghua provided. You may reach the reception for the headsets and channel 1 for English and channel 2 for Putonghua. 本次研讨会将以英语演讲，并设有普通话传译服务。 如有需要，请到接待处领取耳机。您可以调至频道1为英语，频道2为普通话。To show our courtesy to the speakers, please switch off your mobile phone or turn it to vibration mode during the conference. Thank you for your cooperation. 为表示对讲者的尊重，请大家关掉手机或调至静音模式。感谢您的合作。Under the theme of redesigning the future of luxury watches, our speakers will share the topics on post-pandemic market analysis on watchmaking industry, the latest omni-channel ecosystem in mainland China, and the next-gen smartwatches and hybrid watches. Without further ado, may I first invite Ms. Daisy Mark, co-chairman of the Fair Organizing Committee of the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021, to deliver a welcome remarks to us. Ms. Mark, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, I very welcome you all at the Asian Watch Conference 2021. As you all would agree, to serve upward in the 21st century, we need to stay survey and develop the strategies to keep one step ahead of the changes in the global market. To stay abreast of the market situation, the theme this year is Redesigning the Future of Luxury Watches. We will be discussing today on market analysis, on watchmaking industry after the pandemic, the latest e-commerce and omni-channel ecosystem in mainland China, and next-gen smartwatches and hybrid watches. Asian Watch Conference is pleased to have invited industrial leaders to share their insights with us today. Please allow me to introduce our speaker. They are Mr. Louis Chan, Principal Economist, Global Research, HKTDC. Ms. Yo-Yo General Manager, iClick Interactive, Asia Group Limited. Mr. Paul Anthony Yuan, Director, Daytong Industrial Company Limited. My thanks to our speaker today, as well as the Hong Kong Watch Manufacturing Association and the Federation of Hong Kong Watch Trades and Industries for coordinating today's conference with us. And I thank all of you here for joining us. I wish everyone a very fruitful experience at the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Mark, and please remain on stage. As a token of our appreciation, may I also invite Mr. Philip Lau, the co-chairman of the Fair Organizing Committee of the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021, to join Ms. Mark on stage and present souvenirs to our speakers. Mr. Lau, please. May I invite Mr. Louis Chen, the Principal Economist Global Research of HKTDC. And Ms. Yo-Yo Ng, the General Manager of iClick Interactive Asia Group Limited. and Mr. Paul Anthony Yoon, the director of Dayton Industrial Company Limited, to come on stage and receive the souvenirs. May I also invite Mr. Ronald Ho, the Senior Exhibitions Manager of HKTDC, to join a group photo with the speakers. Thank you, and please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now pass the stage to our first speaker, Mr. Louis Chen, the Principal Economist, Global Research of HKTDC. He will share with us on the future face of watchmaking. Mr. Chen, please.
Not this one. So, can you hear me? Yes, okay, very well. So thank you very much for coming over to the Asian Watch Conference. I'm Louis Chen from HKTDC Research. So definitely I'm not from the watch industry. So what I'm going to tell you and share with you today, okay, is not very much coming from the watch industry. But actually because we did some research regarding the industry, and we are very happy to share with you some findings that we think might be useful for you to plan ahead, okay, your business. So the topic of my presentation today is the future phase of watch making. And we have published a recent research article, okay, with the same title on HKTDC research portal. So please feel free to take a look at it, and you don't have actually to drop any notes, okay, throughout the presentation. Just sit back and relax. So this is just some recap regarding how the industry has been doing, okay, since the onset of the pandemic. So I'm sure that if you are coming from the watch industry, you should have already seen these numbers. So basically in 2020, basically all markets in the world, okay, they sell less watches, and in terms of volume and also in terms of value. So you see the Swiss watch, okay, witness a 20% year-on-year decline. Hong Kong 28%. Even for mainland China, it's negative 26%. So if we take a look at the Swiss watch industry as a whole, for the first time, okay, something happened. While we are all experiencing some business slides, okay, we found that for the first time ever in history, mainland China became the Swiss watch industry's largest export market surpassing Hong Kong. So I would tell a little bit more or provide some clues why this happened or why this is going to be a trend or whether something will come back or roll back in the coming years. So you see that basically last year, the Swiss watch industry only witnessed growth in the mainland China market. So this is the situation for the past 7 months this year. So you can see that basically all the major markets in the world for the industry has been coming back, and we hope the momentum can be sustained throughout the year and in the year coming next. So this is the performance of Hong Kong's watch and clocks exports. So you can see that in the first 7 months, in the first half of the year, we experienced a 45% year-on-year growth. But needless to say, it's because of a low base reason. Because we are coming back, we are comparing it year on year from the last, from the first 6 months of last year. So that's why the growth has been stunning. Now we have been go through all those changes in terms of value. In value terms, we have seen a lot of changes. Over the 18 months since the beginning of the pandemic. But we have seen that basically the export mix of Hong Kong's watch industry remains more or less intact. So the major markets, more or less the same, except that basically the top 5 remain the mainland China, the United States, Switzerland, Japan, and Macau. Now, looking forward, we are expecting a K-shaped recovery. What does it mean by K-shaped recovery? Actually, if you follow very closely with the industry, not just the watch industry, but the surrounding industry, including the fashion industry, you will see that basically many fashion and even watch executives have predicted that the coming year or the coming years, we will witness a K-shaped recovery, meaning that some better performing countries will perform much, much more better after or in the aftermath of the pandemic. While some economies or some markets, they have been performing not as good as before, will be dragged on in the coming years, even after the pandemic. So I borrow this picture or this illustration from a study from the McKinsey, and actually they are talking about the state of the fashion industry. But I found that the trends are so much similar to what we have been seeing in the watch industry. I don't have time to go through all of them, but we will focus on 3. The three trends are highlighted in blue. So the digital sprint, so if you ask anybody, here in the room, in the hall, going digital is no longer a choice. It's something that you need to survive, after 18 months of coronavirus. So this is something that we don't have to go much into detail more. But I will share you some trends regarding the major markets, including the United States and mainland China, how e-commerce has been increasingly a very important element in your marketing mix to make sure that you can grow and emerge from surviving to thriving in the new normal. Another one is, we call it seeking justice. So to use another 3 letters, English letters to represent is ESG. So everybody is talking about sustainability. If you walk around the hall, you see that many sustainable watches from recycled materials, from solar power movement to many, many other recycling, upcycling elements being embedded into the making of the watches. So you can see this is also a trend affecting all the industry, including, of course, the watch industry. And travel interrupted. So you can see, just by looking around, you can see that this problem remains very much a headache for every industry, including the watch industry. And we will see how particularly this is going to drag on the performance of the industry, in the coming slides. So let me just move forward. Now, this is the situation we have been seeing. So including the mainland China market, anybody has a clue how much luxury spend, okay, in the mainland China actually, okay, before the coronavirus were spending abroad. Anyone has any idea? Actually, if according to some very conservative statistics, it's at least 70% of luxury spend, okay, in mainland China or by the mainland China consumers are used to be carried out, okay, in foreign markets. So you can imagine, okay, when you cannot travel, then all this spending power will be, okay, piled up or pinned up, okay, in the mainland domestic market. So you can see why the domestic market or the mainland Chinese market has been so vibrant, okay, for the watch industry among all other luxury products. But just for your information, last year, that 70% has dropped to less than 30%. So you can see that how the purchasing power has been directed to the domestic mainland China market. So we are not seeing any very strong way out so far. And if you ask the travel industry, apart from domestic travel or cruise to nowhere arrangements, we can see that, okay, for international travel or quarantine-free travel to resume, we are talking about 2023 or 2024. So at least in the coming 1 or 2 years, we will be, our traveling plan will continue to be interrupted. So how this is going to transform our planning, our mix between foreign market sales to domestic market sales, this is something that we have all to consider. Now, this is something that concerning the supply chain. So everybody is reducing their SKUs, okay? Fewer new models, fewer collections, fewer stocks, and everybody is trying or competing or I don't want to use the word struggling for logistics arrangements, okay, from sea flights to shipping to ocean flights. You can imagine how high they have been, okay, skyrocketing, okay, in coming months, okay, in the wake of the year-end spending seasons. So these are all the things we have to take into account in your planning ahead regarding your business, especially, okay, today we are talking about the watches. Now, we believe that there are two, okay, I only have time to talk about two, but this basically summarizes all the things that we have to bear in mind. So I hope to spend the rest of my presentation focusing on two elements, sustainability and e-commerce. So I'm sure that e-commerce is something that Yo-Yo can share more, and she is going to bring some good news and blessing to everyone of us, okay, in the room to understand how this can actually help struggling business, okay, to regain the loss, okay, due to the decline in physical retail or physical sales. And sustainability is something that the industry, not just the watch industry, but all industry has to move forward. And I'm sure Paul will have much to say when he launched his new smartwatch connection, which can also embed the idea of sustainability from product design to the whole production life cycle. So sustainability. Now we consider sustainability the next digital is out of question. So what does it mean is if you consider going digital is already a must today, then if you have not yet started your sustainability steps, that I will tell you that sustainability will follow digital to be the key of should follow digital to be the key of your business planning. So we believe that it's not only affect, okay, the consumer-facing industries or the consumer-facing parts of your business, but also your employees, the regulators, and even investors. So we believe this is something across the board, and you cannot escape. The other thing is many people still think that sustainability is an investment. We have to talk about the ROI, the return on investment. We have to to calculate the payback period. We have to do a lot of calculating. We have to struggle with the finance or for budget, etc., etc. But what about if we look at it from another angle? We don't consider it an act of investment, but an act of obligation. If it's an obligation, there is something that you cannot, move around. You have to do it, whether or not you like it. So this is something we believe, is worth, further exploration. And how to realize or turn this vision into business action is something every company, including every watchmakers in the hall, would have to think about. So we have seen that many people say that this is only for the big names. From the first ever solar power watch from Cartier, and the recycled watch from Panerai, or the very beautiful watch box, the paper-based strap from IWC. All these, you think they're only for the big names, but actually it's not exactly the case. But if you go on Google or you use other big data analytics, you will see that actually sustainability has been increasingly a common, popular SEO for brands to do their social media marketing. Now this is the trend is also instructional for startups. These are emerging brands. You can see that the first ever, this one is the first ever auto charging watches. This one, the Cease2C is a brand, making watch from the marine waste, the plastic waste. So all these are emerging brands. They are not big brands. They are really young brands, and they are not big names to many of us. So the concept is not just for big names. Now, so if you ask me the market outlook, I would say that craftsmanship and design will continue to be the most important parts of the industry. But when we are talking about the craftsmanship and design, we bear in mind that we are going to be minimal, to be low profile, to be simple but stylish. But these things are very much in line with the growing up of the Gen Z population, the Gen Z consumers. They don't usually look at brands, but the story behind the brands. So they have to have something to represent their characters, their lifestyles. So these become much more important than the big name or the big brand names. Another one is ESG, as I said. Sustainability is only part of it. How you make your watchmaking process, including your output, the watch, sustainable, recyclable, upcyclable, or how you reduce the carbon footprint in the whole manufacturing process. These are basics. But how your brand or your company carry on the social responsibility, including gender equality, gender diversity, the social governance, how you make your manufacturing, your reporting protocol transparent and accountable. So all these will be important elements in your business plans ahead. So the consumers, are increasingly sophisticated. They look only at your brand, or they are not just looking at the bling-bling design of your watch, but they are paying more attention to the brand and the message and the items they represent behind. And the other one is pre-owned watches. We also see that, watches are also being resold or repurposed. So we have to make sure that how we can manage better the product life cycle, and whether the watch can be upcycled, how we can deal with the end of product arrangement, how we can make the watch more useful even after you want to change. Another trend is e-commerce. Needless to say, even in the nation worst hit by the pandemic, I'm talking about the United States, in terms of the absolute number of infection and death toll, the e-commerce has been witnessing a boom in the US market. And the US market is growing back very fast. And this year, the US economy is expecting a 7% year-on-year economic growth, when they dropped 3.5% last year. So we are seeing a very strong comeback of the US economy, so as the consumption expenditure. And also in China, in mainland China, as everybody should have understand, okay, last year, China, the mainland China is only the major economy witnessed economic growth, okay, amid the COVID-19 pandemic. So this has translated into a 26% year-on-year growth on the single days sales. So we are expecting more or less similar growth pattern, okay, in the coming months. Now, KOL and KOC is something that come with the e-commerce sphere. So I'm sure that Yo-Yo can have a much more in-depth knowledge to tell us in her presentation. And social media marketing is not only in China, but also in the United States, especially among the Gen Z population. They spend many or a very large proportion of their online time, okay, to use social media. So this has been a very indispensable channel to reach out to your future consumers. Okay, so by e-commerce, apart from KOL or KOC live streaming or any other market e-commerce market platform promotion, we also need to make ourselves future-proof by embedding the data empowered solutions throughout the whole product life cycle and the marketing mix. So we have to make ourselves ready, okay, in our marketing mix to collect the correct data, do the analytics, and engage our customers from the beginning, from the design stage throughout the whole manufacturing stage and even after. So customization, okay, is something that we may have to bear in mind as the consumers are becoming more sophisticated and they are more self-centric. And somehow we have to gamify the experience. Wearing a watch or buying a watch is no longer just shopping, but it can be a gamifying experience. So we have seen that some innovative Hong Kong watchmakers, they also introduce DIY watchmaking kits for people to make their own watch at home or whenever they want. So another trend, I will leave this to Paul to talk about the smartwatch and other functional watches, which has been boom, okay, amid the coronavirus. We have seen that many people are buying watches, okay, with these different functions, okay, to do their at-home exercise and workout. So my last few slides will be just a recap. Okay, many people are trying to survive, okay, through the pandemic. This is a picture I draw from the Johns Hopkins University, the COVID-19 map, okay, days before. So still, the big picture is not very optimistic. We're still seeing increasing number of infection and death. But on the other hand, we have seen that many organizations, including the IMF and World Bank, are expecting most, if not all, major economies to roll back their economy this year. So with such a dilemma, okay, with the coronavirus lingering on one hand and economy, okay, doing better, far better, okay, on the other, then we need to transform our business, okay, with the keywords sustainability and e-commerce. So just a recap. Okay, we have been through, okay, in the past 50-something years, okay, this is, if you're in the industry, you know what it is. It's Beta 1, okay, the so-called first cross-watch, the protocol, and it's in the early 1960, and then the affordable cross collection, which has been very controversial, especially from the traditional watchmaking history, okay, to go into the electronic cross stage or the age. And then in early 2010s, we have seen the first Apple Watch. And then we have a lot of more varieties coming on. We are no longer, some people may no longer call it a watch, but a wearable that are functional and gig or cozy, okay, for them to watch over 24 hours a day. So we don't have a silver bullet, or there is no simple fix, no quick fix after all. But we should overcome after so many years of hiccups and transformation. So this is a picture that I want to bring a more optimistic message after all to finish my presentation. This is the prediction from the WTO. We are expecting an 8% volume growth in trade this year. And we have, in earlier this month, last month, we have seen that the barometer of the global trade has reached its historical high. So given that, I hope you all enjoy these slides, and I wish you all very good business in this year and next. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Please be seated. Now, may I invite our next speaker, Ms. Yo-Yo Ng, the General Manager of iClick Interactive Asia Group Limited. She will share with us on new marketing world of opportunities in China. What's next in winning emerging digital savvy Chinese consumers? Ms. Ng, please.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yo-Yo. I'm the General Manager of iClick Interactive. Well, thank you, Louis, for sharing us the watch roadmap and also what's happening and what we're expecting in the next few years. So today, I will talk about the key advantage of adopting a data-driven marketing solutions and also with the ability to connect Chinese audience to a highly targeted and personalized experience in both digital advertising and messaging. The integrated access for brands in both digital advertising and also marketing automated solutions are key to help them to unlock the marketing efforts when it comes to winning Chinese audience. Now, throughout the presentations, I will talk about most of the audience, how do we target them in China. But before I start, I want to let you know that we do have prize giveaway, at the end of the presentation. Don't worry, we do have the questions not too difficult for you guys to understand. The answers are actually in the presentation, So if you guys listen carefully, more pay attention, then you'll get the prize. There are 2 questions at the end, So let me give you a brief background of iClick. We are established in 2009, and we are the independent online marketing agency and also an enterprise solution provider with a headquarters in Hong Kong. Now, we have around 11 offices around the world, focusing and serving around 3,500 direct clients, and also marketers. Now, in 2017, iClick went NASDAQ listed in the US, and we are the first homegrown ad tech company that went NASDAQ listed. Now, what's unique about iClick? Our proprietary platform processes omni-channel marketing capabilities and fulfills various marketing objectives in a data-driven and automated manner, helping both international and domestic marketers to reach Chinese audience in China. Now, our logic behind is that with our marketing intelligence platform, iAudience, we can help brands to identify their target audience, their user profile, their demographics, their interest categories. And with these insights, we will help brands to actually formulate the marketing strategies, followed by marketing and media activations with our Chinese inventories. Our Smart Enterprise Solutions also offers an end-to-end business solutions designed for brands to target, engage, acquire, and retain customers in a single platform. And of course, most of the brands, they want to measure the effectiveness of the campaign through our iInsights. Now, iClick also offers one-stop data-driven data marketing solutions where we aggregate and optimize inventories across all channels to maximize your marketing performance. These include Tencent properties, Baidu, also other properties. In the social media space, where most of you might know WeChat, Red, Douyin, Weibo. MCN, that's most of the marketers are talking about right now with the KOL partnerships and content creation. And also our programmatic platforms. And last but not least, Smart Retail. So smart retail and customized ads help to reach relevant target audience across channels, reaching 1,100 million targeting Chinese internet users. So I'd like to share 2 case studies, okay? One is Cartier. So Cartier has been our client for quite some time, okay? So for this campaign, particularly this campaign, they like to target men's, okay? They want to promote the men's watch. So for us to help them to target it, okay, we identified the characteristics of Cartier's targeting audience via the searching, browsing behavior. For example, most men, they like luxury watch, but at the same time, they like to buy vehicles, property, investments. So these are actually also our targetings to help them to understand what's their unique selling and the messagings. So using our programmatic and OTV ad solutions, Cartier's videos ads was delivered via iClick's platform to premium Chinese inventories and applications to best fit the brand's targeting audience profile in in-feeds format. So with the results, we helped them to boost the campaign's click-through rate to 1.58%, which is actually above the market average, and also higher than the standard mobile display in the market. The second one is Giro Perigo. Okay, so this one, for this brand, their targeting objectives is different from Cartier. Well, of course, the price range is also different. Now, with their objective, we help them to drive relevant and high net worth individuals to purchase the luxury watch at shops. Okay? Also, to build and more enlarge the targeting audience pool to cater every touch point of the consumer journey. Our strategy is to identify prospects throughout the audience group and the behaviors using our multi-dimensional data map, and to leverage the most engaging channel that includes video, relevant searches on Baidu, okay, and also locational-based targeting. Now, the results has been achieved over by 104%. So this is a very promising result. Now, I want to talk about, after COVID-19, what has been changed to Chinese consumption based on their recent behaviors? What are their channels that they most likely use now? Despite all this uncertainty, China will still continue to be the fastest engine that powers global consumption growth. Now, COVID-19 in the spotlight. iClick has actually prepared more insights to identify Chinese netizens following COVID-19 related topics, leveraging our audience to discover consumer behaviors. For example, we see that there are growing demands in online video entertainments. People are actually staying at home a lot more, not going out. 2, rising interest in leisure travel, which helps to bring local tourism travel recovery. And 3rd is that most people are becoming more health conscious, okay, where they want to strengthen their immune systems. As people prefer to look at the audience, with this data, we can see brands' competitive analysis, understanding the audience and their most actionable insights. Now, ever since COVID has started, most brands are very worried about sustaining their business and what are the opportunities when it comes, what are the solutions that they want to regenerate their business. Now, China is in fact ahead of the curve in terms of recovery from the recent COVID-19 outbreak, with many provinces has already returned to normal level of activities. Factories are producing again, and also consumers are actually spending a lot in China right now. Weiji, okay, that's the Chinese word we see right now as risk and opportunity. On the risk side, we see that media channels in China are very fragmented and very high agency commissions. Also, in terms of the media placements, with very low visibility and also lack of measurements. Now, on the opportunity side, we see that we offer an integrated platform where cost per action is applied to measure the effectiveness of the performance marketing using data tracking. Now, we need to rethink our digital marketing strategies. Before the COVID-19 crisis, the appeal of engaging digitally with Chinese consumers was already very high. Now, since China's outbreak and subsequent lockdown, consumers have become more digital, buying additional products online on their phones, such as grocery items. Last year, around March last year, everyone was chasing after toilet papers. Any others? I'm sure you guys have experienced that, right? So brands have been increasingly finding it more challenging to reach these Chinese digital consumers. When COVID-19 closed doors and canceled all the public events, digital marketing costs went up virtually by double, and they made it very difficult to reach their Chinese audience, with some even shifting their entire budget to digital. Now, the basics of marketing hasn't changed. With the right product, the right message in the right place, finding your right audience, that is the most important. The difference in the digital era is that marketing technology, or we call it MarTech, helps to accelerate and maximize the basic endeavor at minimal cost. Now, I want to talk more about social commerce. Social commerce, where social media is actually driving force of behind sales, which is one of the trends in China right now, a major disrupting force. Social commerce has seen triple growth in the past 5 years in China. The average consumer right now in China, they're actually spending 7 hours per day on mobile internet, a figure increased by a fifth in the aftermath of COVID-19 crisis. About 2/3 of the 7 hours is spent. Where are they spending? Using social or content apps. They want to seek more information on social media from KOLs, social influencers, and their friends before they actually make purchase. Now, time spent using social and content apps is now driving 50% of the social interest and 25% of purchase. That's a marked change from 2017 figures of 37% and 7% respectively. Now, who are the Chinese audience? Which consumers actually have the highest purchasing power? Now, China's Gen Z, they actually spend their childhoods during the fastest sustainable expansion of major economy of history. They're so used to the rapid improvement in the standard of living, and they're actually the first generation of digital native, where they're so familiar with the technology as a form of communication and entertainment, and they're also the enabler of e-commerce. Once engaged, China's Gen Z are more brand loyal. Around 47% of them, they will stick with the brand that they like, and around 43% of them, they will know the brand that, they will choose a brand over a new one. Now, successful brands increasingly leverage CRM, customer relationship management, on social apps to keep their customers informed and engaged. For example, WeChat mini programs, that's the app within WeChat that do not have to download separately, offers an array of value-added services such as exclusive bookings, restaurant bookings, mobile games, which help to foster brand loyalty. Now, we want to understand more about the perspective of Gen Z. So there are 6 major trends that we're seeing right now. Trend 1, we are seeing China's Gen Z are very optimistic, impulsive, and they tend to overspend their budget. Trend 2, they're so desire for the unique products and services. Trend 3, they're relatively more loyal to brands right now. 4, omni-channels is on the rise. 5, Gen Z gravitates towards the individual merchants on e-commerce platform due to greater transparency, and also with quality assurance. Trend 6, word of mouth, the online version, which is the most influential when it's come to purchasing decision. Now, iClick helps to connect every single touch point throughout the consumer journey. Consumers where they have shown interest during the browsing stage, and how do brands want to engage them in the other channels, and we help our brands to retarget and find their lookalike audience. iClick offers and programmatic solutions that includes a mix of video, KOLs, influencers, virtual commerce, and even our smart enterprise solutions help to drive brand loyalty. For example, WeChat mini program. As I mentioned earlier, omni-channel is on the rise, and that's where iClick comes in to offer different types of strategies to reach Chinese audience. ISS, our one-stop cross-channel targeting solutions for agencies, marketers, and brands from anywhere around the world to effectively reach Chinese audience throughout the one single interface. Now, China is a huge consumer market with highly complex and fragmented digital landscape. Yet marketers find it very challenging to conduct effective and digital campaigns in China due to the lack of audience and insufficient access to Chinese inventories. In addition, there is low level of transparency and control, making measurement and evaluation very difficult. Using ISS, marketers can easily manage their digital campaigns through single interface with a first look of access to premium Chinese inventories at scale, including massive platforms like WeChat. ISS can also ensure marketers have the transparency and visibility that they need to understand the inventory and where the inventory is coming from. Now, when we enter China, what's the effective way to target your audience while minimizing your marketing spend and also maximize your revenue in China, which is actually the most important. Now, there are efforts that you can leverage: mainstream cross-border e-commerce, sites like Tmall Global or JD Worldwide. However, often with high acquisition and very high retention costs. Now, if you want to start looking at a cross-border business, you must be considering these public platforms or marketplace where there are lots of other shops that your audience can actually find their favorite items. However, what do you expect and what do you want to achieve out of these campaigns? And do you know with these platforms, what are the associated costs that you need to bear? Or there are so many mobile applications out there that can choose, but it makes it even more difficult for brands to collect fragmented data. It creates many steps for customers to find their preferred items, and there are chances that they will be dropped out, which is not convenient enough for consumers. Now, the rapid growth of WeChat mini programs, that's actually very important for driver for apps. COVID-19 pandemic has created and accelerated consumer adoption of e-commerce on WeChat as shoppers are spending more time buying things on the app. The GMV that we look at, the gross merchandise value of WeChat mini program commodity transactions, actually doubled in 2020. Fast consumer goods, fashion, beauty, they're actually the most highest categories and show the rapid growth on WeChat. So per user, we are looking at the number of mini programs used rose about 25%, and the average transaction value increased by 67% year on year in 2020. Now, WeChat search, the apps within the search function, saw the monthly active users exceed by 500 million for the first time. This company is planning more integration this year between official accounts, mini programs, and other features like video channels. Some brands have actually spending their marketing dollars on paid media and have driven traffic to their shops, to these public platforms. However, with these public platforms, brands may not realize and may lose their customers to other competitors on the same platform, and it creates a wastage and negative ROI on their marketing spend. Now, with private domain traffic, you can actually own your traffic with even lower acquisition and retention costs. Now, let's look at the iSmart Go, where we use this mini program that leverage WeChat ecosystems to help sell cross-border goods to China more effectively and more efficiently. Mini programs are now widely used in China right now, while overseas companies can now benefit cross-border e-commerce with easy-to-use interface. New merchants can also use powerful SaaS-based iSmart Go platform to set up digital storefront with alluring product displays and promotional items such as group buying, flash sale, and coupon giveaway. Now let's look at a video to find out more about details.
Tapping into China's booming market, e-commerce tops the agenda for enterprises in search of smarter ways to enter China and to gain market share. But their efforts to leverage mainstream cross-border e-commerce sites like Tmall Global or JD Worldwide often falter when faced with high-cost customer acquisition and retention, or when they lack ownership of private traffic data. This is where iClick's iSmart Go comes in, a one-stop cross-border smart retail solution. iSmart Go uses a mini program that leverages on the WeChat ecosystem to help sell cross-border goods to China more quickly and effectively. Many programs are now broadly used in China, while overseas companies can benefit cross-border e-commerce with its easy-to-use interface, fast track to initiate business in China, and also its private traffic data management that makes scaling effortless. New merchants can use the powerful, flexible, SaaS-based iSmart Go platform to set up digital front stores with alluring product displays and promotional activities, such as group buying, flash sales, and coupon giveaways. iSmart Go is borderless and seamless, providing comprehensive cross-border e-commerce services covering brand exposure, mini program development, and advertising placement. Its all-in-one payment integration supports the currencies of Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, and other global regions. Its logistics management brings you an end-to-end supply chain, from transaction to distribution. Our all-rounded advertising solution helps you to venture through and maximize the efficacy of the many ad types available on the Tencent ad marketplace. Our private traffic data management service supports in-depth analysis on user life cycles, sales performance, and marketing promotion effectiveness. Omnichannels like WeChat are the new retail norm. iSmart Go is your key to unlock your full business potential.
Okay, thank you. So with the iSmart Go enterprise and also SaaS-based model, and also the logistic management helps you to bring end-to-end supply chains from transactions to distribution. Omnichannels like WeChat are actually the new social retail norm, and it's the key to unlock your business potential. These are some of our clients for your reference that we have been working with, and also on a WeChat mini program and other digital marketing solutions as well. So now, exciting time comes. Prize giveaway. Yay! Now you guys understand the content and are ready to answer, right? Okay, so I'd like to see some hands. There are two questions only. I'd like to see some hands. Get ready. Which of the following is the best described about iClick? A, independent online marketing agency. B, enterprise solutions provider. C, US Nasdaq listed company. D, all of the above. Anyone want to try? It's not hard. Raise your hands, please. D? Yay, we got a winner. That's your prize. Question 2, which is the last question. Okay? Which platform is the best? Okay, which platform in China has the highest growth rate? They all look so similar, right? A, Red. B, Douyin. C, WeChat mini program. D, Weibo. Which one? Okay, put it down again. 1, 2, 3. Which one? The men's? Okay.
C.
C? Okay, C is a cat, right? Yes, WeChat mini program. Yay! Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, if you guys want to know more about details about iClick and how our solutions can help you, okay, you can visit our booth upstairs on the 5th floor. Okay, thank you very much. And this is also my contacts if you want to text me separately, asking how to create a business in China, getting more private conversations. Here's my details. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ng. Please be seated. Last but not least, may I invite Mr. Paul Anthony Yun, the Director of Dayton Industrial Company Limited. He will share with us on the next-gen smartwatches and hybrid watches. Mr. Yun, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hong Kong Trade Development Council for the invitation to speak at the 2021 Asian Watch Conference today. The topic I've been given is Future-Ready Luxury Hybrid Watch Design and Engineering. And in my talk today, I will focus on the development of the next generation smartwatches, specifically touching on product design trends and technology-enabled features to facilitate watchmakers and manufacturers to be future-ready. My presentation would be divided into 3 sections. I would start with an overview of the current smartwatch market and highlight business opportunities. Then moving on to design trends and technology-enabled features with illustration through case studies, then finish off with some key takeaways. Well, why a watch? If you have been listening to Yo-Yo and Lewis, you would have noticed that the smartwatch category has been growing despite the worldwide pandemic. It was Bill Gates who once said, "The advance of technology is based on making it fit in so that you don't really even notice it, as it is part of everyday's life." How better can one describe the rise of the smartwatch category, as it quietly becomes the personal portal to the Internet of Things revolution. There are obvious reasons that justifies the rise of the smartwatch category. Firstly, a number of the population is already accustomed to wearing watches. Well, you're in the watch fair. I would imagine if I see a show of hands, you're accustomed to wearing one. Secondly, watches are less likely to be misplaced with respect to phones, tablets, or other mobile platforms. Thirdly, watches are more accessible than any other device that one may carry, including your mobile phone. By the way, where is mine? Lastly, you may not know that actually the wrist is the ideal place to put bodily sensors. And it's also the best place to have a wearable display. Given all the benefits, it's no surprise that the smartwatches has been booming since its introduction in the early 2010. Now the question that we're faced with is, how do we make the next generation smartwatches more desirable? Well, I suppose depending on whom you talk to, the answer may be quite different. If you're a developer like myself, well, one may desire a more stable environment with app development support, with close contact with industry leaders, giving tech availability to support our development. For a watch manufacturer, one may be after a crash course on Design for Smartwatch Mass Manufacturing 101. Well, basically the topic may start with how to integrate watchmaking with microelectronics. And then if you're a user, Well, it takes, I suppose, no more elaboration, because most of you, or some of you at least, would have experience with a smartwatch. But I suppose making it fully upgradable, hardware and software-wise, plus some aesthetics elements upgrade would be nice. And let me come back to that. Well, most of you sitting here are businessmen, and so am I. So let's take a look at the market snapshot and see what it has to offer first. It's interesting, I shared the same source as Lewis earlier. According to the Motor Intelligence, the smartwatch market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 14.5% year on year for the next 5 years. And this has already been revised down from more than 18% before the pandemic. Well, this is remarkable. What is more remarkable is, despite the pandemic, smartwatches are actually shipping. If we look at the latest data and look at the Q2 2021 figures, it has soared 47% annually to reach 18 million units in the second quarter of 2021. Now, of course, you would be saying, okay, but probably a good proportion of that goes to the major brands, huh? If we go back one, we would see some of them. The market is basically dominated by Apple, who takes about 50% of the market share today, followed by Samsung, and then Garmin, Fitbit, and Fossil. All right. Being a businessman, what does these numbers mean to us? What does it reveal to the current market players? Where are the opportunities? Okay, I am not a number person, but what if I tell you there's a way for us to make $1 million a year for the next 5 years? Now I have your attention. Let's take a look. Simple math. If we take out the 3 major players that I've mentioned earlier and focus on the remaining close to, say, 30% of the market, we are looking at we are looking at 148 million units. And let's, for a moment, imagine that some of us sitting here would be interested and say, okay, let's work on this. Let's work on it together. And let's set a low expectation. And let's try to get only 1% out of that other remaining market. We come up with some numbers close to 400,000 units a year. That's only 1%. If we take out all the 3 major players, leaving only about, well, to be exact, 28% of the market, 1% of that, we are still talking about 400,000 units. And if all the players who makes this happen would be making US $2.50, that would come out to be $1 million the first year. So hurry up. Then follow the second year, maybe 1.2, then going to 2023, 1.4, then 1.6, then 1.8. We would have easily achieved a total of over $7.2 million in the next 5 years. Still interested? Well, of course you'll be asking, but I am not a manufacturer, I am not a developer. How do I get on this bandwagon and make some money? Okay, well, here I will touch on some of the next generation smartwatch design trends. But before I go there, let's look at what the people in the industry are doing today and what are some of the insights we can derive or understand or take away from it. One of the major reasons for consumers and watchmakers not opting for smart watches is the lack of awareness about the utility, the technology used, and the complexity, which is a major key restraint for the market. Maybe allow me to share some insight into this. Firstly, IoT-driven smartwatches is definitely a key trend, which will not only operate as standalone technologies, but interact with other IoT devices to vastly improve a user quality of life. Okay, you probably have seen this slide a number of times. As we talk about the Internet of Things revolution, what is the best personal portal to connect with other devices other than your watch? One may argue your phone. But for reasons I've already pointed out, the watch is the best personal portal to connect with the world. Now, of course, understanding the importance of being IoT connected is one thing. That leads to the second point. In the world of IoT, interoperability is the key. What am I talking about? Well, basically, the hardware and firmware must complement the wearable technology with superb, ready-to-use IoT function and application. The total integration starts with the microchips in wearable devices and enables and ensure interoperability with other devices. Okay, typically that is done through a certification process. But one can imagine the frustration of owning a beautiful and latest generation smartwatch only to find that it doesn't work with your new mobile phone. So this is the key, interoperability. When we try to design the next generation smartwatches, it has to be able to be integrated easily with other devices, regardless of the operating system, Android or iOS alike, and even other world standards, including automobile, gym equipment, to name a few. Then, security. Security is usually a key aspect that people tends to overlook or neglect in their product development. But if we look at the world today, especially in the post-pandemic era, cybercrime has escalated through the roof. You probably have heard it over the news that industries, companies, big or small, have been victims to ransomware. And I'm here to tell you, the ransomware threat doesn't start with, and it doesn't end with, system design. It starts with device security. If the next generation smartwatch is to be the heart of the portal to the IoT, the personal portal to the IoT world. Security is crucial. Then, of course, this wireless sports and fitness and also the health awareness area needs no elaboration. These are the key features that are driving the growth of the current smartwatch movement. Okay, I will spend the following time on some ideas about conventional smartwatches versus hybrid smartwatches. Some friends of mine usually ask me, okay, conventional smartwatches or hybrid smartwatches, which is better? Well, I don't think it's a question of or. I think the answer may well be and. Confusing? Let me explain. Depending on the use case, budget, personal preference, conventional smartwatches and hybrid watches have their rightful place in the market. However, if we look at why I make no pretense that I'm a fan for hybrid watches, why hybrid watches stands out for our watchmaking community, I would like to point out, first of all, well, it's convenient. It provides, instant notification, tracking of health, and everything that goes with a conventional smartwatch. But a bit more. First of all, it has a better battery life, which means you are likely to spend less time charging your device than using it. Then, apart from all the other advantages, you have a device that looks good, that looks individual, and you get a choice of how it should look like. It's no longer an off-the-shelf product that you would be running into each other. Okay, maybe the only difference is the color of the strap, huh? So hybrid smartwatches provide scalable, stylish luxury with a design variant element. Then from a business point of view, why focus on hybrids? Well, for the brand, it combines design DNA with the smart features, which means we can take any of these good-looking watches in the hall and add some smart features to it and create a new category that would boom your revenue, I hope. And then, why Hong Kong? Well, a hybrid watch is a fusion between traditional watchmaking and microelectronics. And Hong Kong is the best place, which has the best talent in both watchmaking and microelectronics. And well, frankly, we are not Apple, Samsung, or even Xiaomi. So the conventional smartwatch area is probably too crowded with big players. Yet, when hybrid smartwatches are concerned, there is still room for growth. Hong Kong has the talents, we have the capital, we have development and manufacturing capabilities here in Hong Kong or in the Greater Bay Area to answer this call. Well, by now, if you're a watchmaker, you may be asking, how easy or difficult is it to jump in? Well, a German customer of ours had the same questions less than 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Let's see what he has achieved. I'm taking special pride in even, for example, in the dial design, mother of pearl. How do we make this happen to have a display behind the mother of pearl? And then others, which I don't have time for today. But before I leave, I'd like to touch on two more ideas. One is, how do we enhance safety on the road? As a pedestrian or a biker, by having the next generation smartwatch, actually, the future cars will be watching over you. Okay, this looks like my wife, who is doing whatever, and then probably playing Candy Crush on her mobile phone while crossing the streets. Dangerous. But with the latest CV2X system, hopefully, in the future, the car will stop and prevent the accident. There are other applications, including our Link to Care system, that provides peace of mind, not just for the person, but for the family as well. I would like to close by leaving you with three thoughts. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused suffering on a truly global scale. But as we can see today, there is an imminent business opportunity to grow the hybrid watch market. It's no secret that I am an Apple fan as well as a Tesla fan. Well, they build their brands on aspirational products, prioritizing the experience of ownership as much as the utility of the product themselves. And both companies have integrated software and hardware in a way that revolutionized their industries. Well, Tesla is not an automotive company. It's an innovative company that makes cars. Apple, much the same way, is an innovative company that makes watches and has become the world leader. What does it mean to us? We can be there too. Well, first by collaborating. Collaborate with all your industry stakeholders, and we can create the next generation of smartwatches. Then innovate and innovate and innovate. It can start with simply look around and identifying certain needs to certain small communities or large communities alike. Then collaborate with the rest of the community to build the product to address those needs. The last point is play to our strength. As I've mentioned, Hong Kong has the talent for watchmaking and microelectronics to make the next generation of hybrid smartwatches. So let's embrace this hybrid smartwatch revolution and take part in this revolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yun. Please be seated. Here comes to the panel discussion and Q&A session. May I once again invite Louis, Yo-Yo, and Paul to join us on stage. Louis would also be the moderator of our panel discussion.
So Yo-Yo and Paul, please be seated. So in the interest of time, I just want to open the floor to questions. If you or anybody has any questions for our guest speakers, so if no, then I would like to ask the first question. And Yo-Yo, you have mentioned in your presentation many different types, actually a very wide array of services that you and your company are capable of helping our watch industry to innovate and to tap the e-commerce or the social commerce trend. So how do you see that the watch company, you mentioned Cartier and GP in your presentation. How about the mid-range brands or SME brands? Are they also doing or moving forward correctly in the era of social media marketing?
So in the presentation, I talk about Cartier and Girard-Perregaux. Those are more on the luxury side of things. We also work with other brands that are targeting mass audience like Tissot, okay? So they actually have the collections to target everyone actually in the industries, teenagers, for example, couples, okay, and families. So when the most important actually for every brand of our stuffs is that they would like to find their right target audience, because without the right targeting audience and without the right messaging, they will actually waste their marketing spend. Right. So when clients, they come to us, the most important is to find their audience and where to find them actually. Okay. To find them where based on their user behaviors, based on their intentions, what they want to buy. Okay. For example, when I mentioned in the PowerPoint in the presentation about Girard-Perregaux, because for that kind of watch, is costing around maybe at least 200,000 Hong Kong dollars. So when we help them to promote their collections, we don't just promote to mass audience, but to the ones that have the luxury to buy, right? To purchase homes, maybe they also fly by first class, for example. So these are our target audience.
Yeah, so I understand that they're pretty big or very various, varying market segment, so to speak. So far as I understand, even prestigious brands like Constantine or IWC, Montblanc, they are also selling on Tmall.
Yeah.
They have a separate pavilion, so to speak, the Tmall luxury pavilion. They are selling products, okay, from the price point of $100,000 upwards. So these are actually areas that we have to take into account when we are planning ahead our marketing plan and marketing strategy to approach different market segments.
Yes, correct.
So another million questions go to Paul. So you mentioned in your PowerPoint, in your presentation, the very promising landscape of smartwatch and hybrid watches. So everybody nowadays, I think most of your peers, okay, in the smartwatch and hybrid watch industry, they face the problem of electronics. Yeah, everybody is talking about semiconductors, microelectronics. So also, or not to mention the skyrocketing logistic costs and the commodity costs as well, the steel and other metal prices. So how do you see that? Do you see that the projection you just mentioned in your presentation is still valid after so many hiccups or counteracting forces interplaying?
Well, yes and no. Of course, we are all suffering in the shortages of semiconductors, all right? But if we have to take a look at some numbers, typically in a smart car, we're talking about something close to 3,000 of these chips. And in a conventional combustion engine car, well, maybe a few hundreds. Well, in the smartwatch playground, we need only a few. So while the automotive shuts down because they fail to match up all the different chips that they are missing, there is a secondary market that favors actually the smartwatch industry because we simply need less types to go into a product. So if you ask me, yes, we are facing with that problem. But on the other hand, we see a secondary spot buy market that is flourishing. Okay, we may have to pay a bit of a premium, but we stand in a better position than the automotive players, at least the the smart cars, automotive manufacturers. The second thing, of course, is the platform we have is already established. So typically, we can afford to place long-term orders to secure those chips. As a matter of fact, today, our company is placing orders in 18 months in advance. So in a situation where the semiconductors is under allocation, we stand a much better chance because we have been able to deliver concrete, solid, real-to-life forecast. And this doesn't happen now. I mean, this happened when we had the pandemic in Q1 last year. We were one of the few manufacturers who have stable orders, still shipping. We have our manufacturing facility intact to deliver and to continue delivering of these products. So we did not, like the automotive or other industries, fail to deliver the forecast to support the sustainable supply chain.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. It's what a relief, okay, to hear these promising words from you, so from the trade. So if there is no more questions from the floor, so may I invite each of you to give us one takeaway, okay, for our audience here in the hall and also online. So maybe I start with Yo-Yo. Can you share just one takeaway for our audience today?
Finding the right audience in the right place and with the right messaging, because I think customers are, it's very hard to generate awareness right now with so many information on social media. So you want to capture their attentions, and when they scroll on social media, I think it just takes them like a few seconds to know about your brand. So for every brand, they will need to think about their unique selling point. How are they different from their competitors in the market? So that's actually the right messaging that I'm talking about, in addition to finding the right audience.
Okay, thank you, Yo-Yo. So how about you, Paul?
Well, if there is one thing to remember, that would be to collaborate.
Collaborate.
Collaborate. We have the best talents, we have the best supply chain, and we have very creative people in our community. And we, like I've said earlier, we have established watchmaking facilities, designers, even marketing company who could help us deliver the message to the audience. And together, we will be able to create and to sustain this hybrid watch revolution. Let's embrace it.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. So the one takeaway from me, if you may allow, that is together we fight and we triumph. Okay, thank you very much. And this is a bye-bye from us today. Thank you very much for coming. We hope to see you all next year.
Thank you, Louis, Yo-Yo, and Paul. Please be seated. Here comes to the end of the conference. Thank you so much to all panel speakers for sharing valuable insights to us today. An array of events will also be taking place at the HKTDC Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021, including Guides to Hong Kong Reindustrialization, Opportunities for the Watch Industry at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow, and Global Luxury Watch Investment and Market Outlook in Mainland China at 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. If you're interested to join, be sure to scan the QR code to learn information and to register for your spot. You may also scan the QR code on the right side and fill out the questionnaire and let us know about your thoughts on the conference. On behalf of the Hong Kong Trade Development Council and the Fair Organizing Committee of the Hong Kong Watch and Clock Fair 2021, I would like to thank you all for joining us today and wishing you fruitful business in the fair. See you tomorrow.